Tonight on All Systems Go, we've got Pets That Fight
and Vamps That Bite. All Systems Go starts right now.
Hello and welcome to All Systems Go, the only show that loves movies
and hates movies. We're deep like that.
I'm Eric, host for hire.
And I'm Darian, host for life. Let's get into it. Only 3 years after its launch in 2019, Google has announced that its cloud gaming service Stadia will officially be discontinued this coming January. The gaming service, which Google claimed would revolutionize the gaming industry, despite Google's limited experience in the gaming industry to begin with, never gained much popularity beyond the initial hype of its launch, which many attribute to the fact that Google didn't release any original titles for the service, instead relying on third-party titles to comprise its library. Immediately after the announcement, the Stadia store was disabled, and Google has assured gamers that all purchases made on the service will be refunded.
Well, it's happening. 6 seasons and a movie, the TV show Community is officially putting their money where their mouth is and living out a 13-year promise as the creators of the show signed a deal with Paramount. Plus, to film a movie 7 years after the finale of the show. Not much of it has been disclosed, but most of the original stars of the show have been slated to return, including Joe McHale, Danny Pudi, Alison Brie, Gilligan Jacobs, Jim Rash, and Ken Jeong. Donald Glover has yet to be confirmed, and following the death of Chevy Chase's character after conflicts set on the original show, it's safe to say he will not be returning. The Community movie does not have a release date yet, but keep a lookout on Paramount+.
The long-awaited Wakanda Forever trailer is finally here after the film was pushed back following the death of Chadwick Boseman in 2020. Just like We Mourn Boseman, Black Panther Wakanda Forever tells a story of grief and loss while also trying to move forward. Wakanda has lost their king, which leaves them vulnerable to attack, attracting the attention of one ruler in particular, Namor the Submariner, leader of the Talokan, an Atlantean-like kingdom. Without a leader, Wakanda is suffering as the underwater world wages war against them. But in true Marvel trailer fashion, the teaser also shows hope in the form of Marvel's latest addition, Riri Williams, or Ironheart, in a newly minted Black Panther and T'Challa's successor. Black Panther Wakanda Forever hits theaters this November 11th.
The most important part of new systems is always hacking them, right? The relatively new PS5 has been jailbroken. SpectreDev, a PlayStation modder, released an exploit to access unauthorized software in the debug menus. However, because the entry point requires the PS5 to be running firmware 4.3 or lower, along with working 30% of the time, this is not the easiest jailbreak discovered. Lance McDonald, another modder, posted playing PT, the Silent Hill demo, off of his PS5 after completing the jailbreak. Though this jailbreak is pretty nice, if you want to play games that aren't available anymore, Sony will probably still try to make sure it doesn't get out of hand.
In a $55 million deal, Fandom, the wiki service that you've definitely used as a cheat sheet once or twice, has purchased 7 different entertainment brands, including GameSpot, Metacritic, and TV Guide. Fandom CEO Perkins Miller explained that the company will be using these brands as a way of providing ratings and reviews to its users as they browse the site's articles. And as convenient as these features seem, fans are concerned what this means for their online privacy, and what kind of data collection the company could do with its combined brands.
A game critiquing capitalism destroyed by capitalism? Irony is funny, isn't it? Key employees of Zoom, the developers of the 2019 role-playing game Disco Elysium, have involuntarily left the company. Those who have been pushed out of the company were the designer, artist, and writer of Disco Elysium. Allegedly, other writers and artists have also been let go by Zoom executives. It is also reported that the Disco Elysium IP has been sold to Amazon for potential TV adaptation, along with the games It Takes Two and Life is Strange. This may seem harsh to some viewers, but I cast a hex on everyone in this story.
Don't go away, because up next we've got Australian Peppa Pig.
In attempts to catch them all, All Systems Go will be right back.
In this video, we go down under. Let's check it out.
Everyone,
And welcome to the Himbo
and Bimbo Show. Back again for the second installment, and definitely not the last, I can promise you that much.
We know you've been waiting a long time for this, so we're back. And this time, we're not talking about
True
crime.
It's just, that's too sad.
We're talking about the opposite of true crime. children's shows.
Children's television. Don't you love it?
Yes.
You know, sometimes you hate it, right? Sometimes they're just really not good shows. And the shows right now that, you know, kids are exposing themselves to, honey, don't do that!
There's a lot of children's shows out there that are just painful to watch.
You know what isn't one of them, though?
Bluey!
So, Bluey is an Australian animated television show, and it's this family of dingoes.
They're actually Australian healer dogs. Fun fact.
They're dogs, not
Dogs.
dingoes. Summer, you were right.
I was right.
Me, I guess.
Australian healer/cattle dogs.
Look at you knowing the information this time.
Surprise! I know a lot about Bluey. But it centers around Bluey and her family, her little sister Bingo, her dad Bandit, and her mom, whose name starts with a C. Give me a second. We're gonna cut this and put, hey, editing Sophia, cut this out. Cut this right here, because I don't want to look like an idiot. But it's about Bluey and Bingo and Bandit and Chili and just their day-to-day life.
You know,
Yeah,
growing up as a kid, and what I love about Bluey is it's very accurate as to how kids really are.
It's so true. And it also, one thing that I really appreciate about this show that a lot of children's shows don't do is it doesn't talk down to its audience or like insult their intelligence by having to over-explain things. And it teaches lessons, but it doesn't like shove them down your throat.
So true. They're very subtle, which I really appreciate because then kids are learning something in a way that isn't like story time. When I was little and I was being potty trained, I watched Bear in the Big Blue House. And
I also watched that show.
I did not learn how to use the potty at the time I was watching it. But what I did was I would quote the Bear in the Big Blue House all the time. I would say, when you really have to go, you have to use the potty. But I wouldn't use the damn potty. It's not hard to teach kids things.
It's true. Kids are so smart. I almost said a word I wasn't able to say.
What word were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the F word.
Oh, you can say the word. I'll bleep it out.
Part of the reason why it's so realistic is because the creator of the show said that he wanted to create a show that encapsulated both his experiences as a father of two children, but also incorporated the memories he had of playing as a child. And that's just, and it walks that line so well.
It does. It really
works
does.
wonderfully.
Because the kids are very imaginative and the parents are also very real. Like, you just see all the perspectives. And it's so freaking cool.
Freaking cool.
Bluey's so funny, bro.
It's so funny.
For
Especially
a kid show, I
Oh
should
my
not
gosh.
be laughing that hard.
Honestly.
Like, I just shouldn't. That doesn't make any sense.
Like, there's one scene where Bluey they're playing pretend, and one of the friends is sick, and so Bluey brings them to Muffin and asks, it's during one where they're like, it's a shot in the style of a home video, and so Bluey asks Muffin if he's ever been sick before, and Muffin goes, yeah, I was sick last year. And then it like does like the whole cut thing, and I was sick last year. Yeah, I was sick last week. I had ladies.
So with that, we appreciate you joining us for another chaotic episode of the Himbo and Bimbo Show.
We can't wait to see you next time.
I've been your Bimbo.
And I've been your himbo.
We're signing off.
Peace out!
In this next video, we put our Pokemon skills to the test. Let's see what happened. So me and my partner in crime, Cam, played Pokemon Black, but with a twist. We randomized every Pokemon in the game and applied Nuzlocke rule. A Nuzlocke is a style where if a Pokemon faints, it dies. You can only catch one per route, and if every Pokemon dies, you have to start all the way over. We thought it would be a smooth sailing. It was not.
Hello, and welcome to our Nuzlocke of Black and White.
But it's randomized. Isn't this one just black?
It is black, but black and white is the kind of the same.
Oh, so you chose the worst legendary.
Hey, Red Shroom is great.
This is Sharon.
Sharon.
This is Bianca.
Kind of annoying.
I think he's cool.
He's alright.
He definitely has like the nerd emoji as his character trait. Oh, we can't even name it yet. We gotta be Bianca.
That's Girder.
I didn't think this through that
I
well.
was like, we should have taken. Oh my god!
It did nothing.
He has Hurricane!
We might be in trouble.
This is just gonna end the Nuzlocke if we die. We have to reset.
Well, let's find out. It'll Fusion Flare again. Maybe it'll crit.
Okay, well that was our first.
Well,
attempt.
that was a nice try, everybody.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
Fortress is the best one out the gate. And a critical hit. But we made it through this
Made
one.
it.
Bianca's...
Oh, he can learn Steam.
What does that do? See, we're gonna maybe be fine. Fortnite the Fortress. What? Why does it have fusion? Okay, we gotta catch it.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got Fusion Bolt.
Oh my god. Cute. Zekrom Jr. Let's call it Zekrom Jr. Juniper with their PNGs. Imagine that. Imagine if you talked to someone and faced them and you just an image of them.
Just a PNG.
Okay, we can't waste guillotine right now. We have to use it when like the chips are down and we need the cool moment.
Genocide.
What are you doing here?
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you haven't seen Oh My Gosh yet, okay? Huh?
Are you sure?
Fusion Bolt.
Oh, no! Fortnite is on his own. Zekrom first death.
Pika pika. Pika.
Oh
No!
I'm so upset. Put him in the desert.
Everywhere I go, I'm reminded of him. Do you want Cam Jr.? Can we check out what Inferno like is?
No. Uh-oh. Landorus!
What? Why does she have
Are you kidding
Landorus?
me?
Okay. Can we check what Inferno does now?
No.
Cam, think before.
Use Judgment. Pidgey has Judgment. The Pidgey has...
Okay. Let's. Why does it have? Oh God! Oh no! No! No!
Please don't kill.
No! I miss Zekrom Jr. I miss him a lot, man. But from the ashes of Fortnite streams and fighting, a new hero will arise. One who trounces all rivals. One who survives past the first gym. One who successfully defeated the second gym. The one whose story... Yeah, our only successful run ends up being the one we can't show the footage of. Unfortunate, but here's the rundown of what happened. First, we got a Seismitoad we named Frogwoman who takes down our rivals easily. Then we get a Bug Ninja named Swagman. Their combined powers are enough to beat N, the first gym, and Team Plasma with no casualties. After we beat Gym 1, we decided to catch as much as we could and train for Gym 2. During this, we caught Shadow the Darkrai, Nosewoman the Nosepass, a Hoo-Hoo named Owl, and a Corsola named Rip. Not RIP, but RIP. But before we even got to Gym 2, we lost Swagman, Nosewoman, and Owl in the training arc. RIP indeed. Even though we suffered great loss, we pressed on and made it to the gym leader with almost no issues. Unfortunately, this is where we lost Shadow to a Weeping Bell. He gave his life to the cause and gave up his harem so we could live. And that's the end of the run. So far, this entire experience was very painful for both IRL and for in-game reasons, but we fought hard all the same, and next time we're targeting the third gym. But for now, let's have a moment of silence for our fallen warriors.
After the break, we'll join the cast as they travel down memory lane. ASG will be right back.
Guten Tag, gamers! My name is Sophia, in case you've been living under a rock, and I've decided to put it upon myself to discuss a topic that is very, very important to me. Childhood television that has been lost to time. With this in mind, I would like to bring up a program that I have been searching for years to find someone else who has watched it. Who here has watched PB&J Otter?
Hell yeah, baby.
I haven't.
I also
100%
haven't.
have.
Yeah.
The Jim Henson Show.
Yeah.
I was a Muppet kid, as everyone who has ever watched this show knows. Spent 100 hours making a puppet for a bit. That's the kind of kid I was.
It was a good bit. It was a good bit.
Thank you. But I watched the Muppet Show religiously as a child. I've seen every episode of the Muppet Show. I can quote some of the shows from some of the episodes from memory. But that's not really a lost show.
Yeah,
but
PB&J Otter has definitely been lost to time because it was canceled in 2001. I was watching reruns of it as an infant. As a literal baby, I would be sat and just watch the show. And honestly, it's interesting that both of us have watched it because it kind of feels like a predecessor to Bluey in a way. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember much of PB&J
No, I don't
Otters.
remember much of it either.
I watched it when I was really little. I
don't remember
I don't
either.
remember most of it.
Could wink.
Thanks.
All right. I'm so glad that we got that off the table. Jenica, do you have any other shows?
Oh boy, howdy do I. I've got, what shall I remember so very much of, is a show called Beakman's World. Has anyone here watched it?
No.
Didn't think so. So basically, what I'm about to say, people might yell at me for. It's like Bill Nye, the science guy, but better.
Whoa.
See, I knew you would have that reaction.
Whoa.
Hold up.
I'd like to see this now.
You would love to see it. It's a really good show.
I'm listening.
So imagine Bill Nye, right? Except he's very zany, very quirky, and he has two assistants. One is a girl, Josie, and then Lisa, and then Phoebe. Changes throughout the 3 seasons. And one is a man in a rat suit named Lester. And so the point of the show is just, he's teaching you science. It's like Bill Nye a lot, but it's absolutely insane. It's really funny. It's really fun. At one point, he goes into a giant model of a nose to explain how snot is created.
Oh, cute.
Because that was one of the questions that a kid sent in to the show. Because they did that. Beekman would also like dress up as famous dead guys to explain science principles better, and everyone could tell that it was Beekman because Beekman would be like, "Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta go," and then someone else would come in and be like, "Oh, famous dead guy."
Right.
It was a very thinly veiled disguise, but it was a really good show and it was really funny because Bill Nye is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, whoa, okay.
When you're a kid, he's really good at explaining science.
Don't be
but when
talking
you're
smack
a
on my
kid,
man Bill Nye.
No.
Don't be
Listen,
talking smack
Bill
on my
Nye
man
is
Bill
great.
Nye.
I'm a big fan of Bill Nye. But when you're a child, the show isn't super exciting because it's all science.
I strongly
But
disagree.
Beekman made science really fun and made it like really funny and funky and fresh. And it made me really enjoy science more than, like once I already enjoyed science, then Bill Nye was fun. But Beekman is what made me love science.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a lot to say about this
I
show.
can tell you do.
I'll do a video for you guys.
Because I want to hear what David has to say about the shows that he's brought to the table.
So I have another science-related show. It's something I watched when I was in elementary school, 3rd grade. Have you heard of the show called Amazing Animals?
No, unfortunately.
That's what I thought. So it was this show that taught biology with this green computer animated lizard.
Oh, so it's CGI?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the show came from the late 90s. Yeah. Could you imagine what that lizard would have looked like?
Yeah, I can kind of get a gauge.
Kind of blocky, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see
I
that.
think I've seen the lizard somewhere. I don't know if I know actually, but I get vibes.
I mean, there's a lot of green lizards.
There are a lot of green lizards. I might be thinking of something else. I don't know. I feel like I can remember some vague
Jenny,
green lizard.
my love.
Oh,
What-
I have a couple.
Okay.
One, Booba.
Booba scared me.
It
wasn't allowed
is
to watch
really
Booba.
odd, but I just have a couple like vague memories.
Yeah.
But like, I never see anyone talk about it. And then Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. It's pretty popular, but
Love
like
Fetch.
it's been nuked off of the PBS website, and it's very hard to find on YouTube, which it used to be fully available on YouTube and on the PBS website, which is annoying because it's not there anymore.
You can find it on Prime
took it
Video.
down.
Yeah.
I'll be able to find it eventually, but like I don't want to pay for that.
No, I don't blame you.
Like it was originally not paid, so why would I pay for it now?
Totally.
But like that, I loved that show so much I broke my arm when I was watching it. And then thinking of what David said with Amazing Animals, there was a show on PBS called Zoom-Boomafoo.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
I've
gosh,
heard of that as
and
well.
that's what Wild Kratts is based off of. But like, I literally have like nightmares about Zoom-Boomafoo. Like, I don't even know what, but like Zoom-Boomafoo just like looks like he's evil.
No, I have
Or did it have something to do with an animated segment?
Yes, because there was
yeah.
like there's this like one segment where like Zoom-Boomafoo, the actual monkey, would.
It's a lemur.
The actual lemur would like run around, and then boom, Magic Sparkles turns into a CGI lemur.
My sister had the board game for Zoom-Boomafoo, and we play it all the time. I was a big fan.
Aww.
Fun fact also, the Kratt brothers actually also made more shows before Zoom-Boomafoo and Wild Kratts. They had a whole little
And you know
watched
what,
a lot of
Jenica?
PBS
You just
kids.
caused us to run out of time.
I'm
Good
sorry.
job.
Oh.
I'm
You
sorry.
did it. Sorry.
It's all my fault.
I really wanted to talk a little bit more.
Well, unfortunately, we just don't have the time. Maybe we'll have to do this again. Up next, we're going to listen to Joe talk about Halo again. Do not go away. Don't do it. They say don't do it. Don't do it.
Now let's watch Joe talk about the 4th game in the Halo series, Halo 3 ODST.
So, in the last episode of ASG, or the last video I talked about Halo Reach, and I talked about why Halo Reach is a masterpiece, of course. So we're gonna take a step back and talk about Halo 3 ODST, because it's another one of those Bungie titles that was really good, and I just want to talk about it in general. So Halo 3 introduced this whole new perspective on the Halo games by itself, taking an Invincible Spartan, and then we're just sort of switching it over to an ODST, which is, fun fact, list them here: ODST, Orbital Drop Shock Trooper. So just in this video today, I just want to talk about Halo 3 ODST and why that game is also a masterpiece, because my god, it is a really great game, and honestly I would be crazy not to talk about it too. So let's talk about the story of Halo 3 ODST. The main story starts with, we're aboard this UNSC vessel, and it's basically the Alpha 9 ODST squad, which is comprised of Mickey, Romeo, Dutch, Buck, and Dare, and the playable character, who you play as, obviously, the Rookie. They have a mission to land on the Prophet of Regrets ship, which is stationed above New Mombasa, and basically they're just jumping straight into hell at this point. As they're about to drop land, the Prophet of Regrets ship decides to make a jump to slip space and activates an EMP throughout the entire city, which practically knocks a lot of people off course. Basically, the first part of the game starts off with the Rookie, who wakes up 6 hours after crash, and basically when he wakes up, he sees that it's nighttime, it's raining, and that the streets are empty and desolate except for Covenant forces. So he wakes up, he exits the drop pod, and he's sneaking around New Mombasa. Now, I think one of the more unique, interesting parts about the story by itself is, the open world sections, which basically have the Rookie exploring the streets of New Mombasa, having to find clues and hints as to what happened to the squad, to the Alpha 9 squad, and having to, just pick and choose your encounters, basically. He's sneaking around, and anything that comes up as a clue will eventually go back to the past, to when the different members of the Alpha 9 squad decide to drop. So for example, like the first mission you play as Buck, and you have to basically go a little more aggressive with gameplay, and you have to get to Dare before she's captured by Covenant forces. And eventually, after that mission is done, it'll jump back to the present, and then you jump back to the past, to the present. It's a lot of jumping, basically. You have to just, you're basically trying to unravel a mystery of sorts until basically the climax of the story. And you're just kind of just enjoying a pretty good time listening to the music and stuff, and, just enjoying New Mombasa and the sights. So next up comes the gameplay. Now, Halo 3 ODST is entirely different from the prospect of what Halo originally played as, where it was more aggressive gameplay of sorts, because you were a Spartan, you had shields, and basically those shields could regenerate as long as you hid behind cover. So to make that switch over to being a Spartan to being an ODST, obviously there has to be some, coordinated differences between the two. So for ODST, you don't have shields. You have stamina, which is listed above on the HUD on the top part of your screen. And basically, when that stamina is kind of like your shield, I do quote marks on the shield because it's not really your shield, it's basically just your health. And if your stamina drops too low, basically then that cushion is gone and 2 more hits and you die. So obviously around New Mombasa is scattered health packs to heal yourself. But I think one of the more interesting parts in terms of the gameplay is how Halo 3 ODST asks players to be more passive rather than be more aggressive with their, style of play. Halo 3 ODST utilizes more stealth in terms of gameplay, and rather than actually being a Spartan and going more aggressive. So I think that's one of the big things. I like the open world concept where you have to find journal entries or whatever that are scattered around New Mombasa, and you kind of have this nice little free roam to it. I mean, there's the linear part of having to discover the next clue, which leads to the next mission that unlocks a new part of the city. But it's a pretty cool concept otherwise. Next point to bring up is the design. The design of the game is unique. It's so much atmospheric storytelling, as previously mentioned. The rain setting on New Mombasa, along with walking around at night, kind of, and the score by Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore is immaculate. So to conclude, Halo 3 ODST is a great game too. I mean, is also a masterpiece that lines up with Reach. Many critics have said that Reach feels lower down on the list of top Halos or whatever. And I mean, it's a different world that Bungie was more or less exploring to, that kind of quote-unquote returns to its roots. I mean, Halo 3 is not the perfect game. It's not Halo 3, but ODST is a fantastic game with a fantastic premise, a fantastic story, and to me, many people may not agree that Halo 3 ODST is a masterpiece, and that's entirely your opinion. You're right to have that, but I mean, to me, Halo 3 ODST is a great game, and I think it's a severely underrated Halo title. I mean, but that's just me. That's what I think. You can play the game yourself in the Master Chief Collection if you want, but to me, Halo 3 ODST is a masterpiece, and that's where I stand. Anyways, I'm ending the video off. Ross, if you want to take over, be my guest. I'm going to go stand in the rain for a bit. Have fun, guys.
When we come back, we'll find out who's the greatest Pokemon trainer of them all. ASG will be right back.
Hey all you Poke Freaks, I'm here with my assistant, Little Manny and Big Manny, and here to test a couple of potential Pokemon masters on whether or not they know what a Pikachu is. The test is simple. Our contestants have to guess whether or not the silhouette on screen is a real Pokemon or a faker. If they guess properly, they can get an extra point if they know the name of the Pokemon or they know what the series the faker is actually from. Let's get started. First up. No.
Fake. Not Pokemon.
I can't. Fun fact. He can't see it. Let's reveal it and find out if it was.
Fake, right? I don't know. Wait.
Who said it first? I'm sorry.
Me.
You're half right. You get half a point. What's the name?
What?
I don't know what this character is. It's I don't know. I can't see it anymore.
My guess is it's from a Cartoon Network show.
Time's up. That it was a real Pokemon, so you're half right. It was half of one.
It's Dimp.
Oh. Dimp.
What? It's Dimp.
How are we supposed to?
Pokemon?
What? Why is it half though?
Because it's half of Impidimp, so it's
Next
dim.
Pokemon.
Okay.
well
Okay. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Whatever. Yeah. Let's get the
right.
next one going then. That is a Pokemon. That is a Pokemon.
I heard Nathan first.
I don't remember what I called this one in Pokemon Go. I renamed all of them, so I don't know what they're actually called. My guess is Sandstrit. I think that's what I call it.
Close, but no. The real name is Sunskirt. You get 1 point.
I was close.
Next up.
Not a Pokemon.
I heard Rowan first, and correct. What series is it from? Nothing?
Wait, it's not fake, you said?
Can I see it?
Yeah, we can see the real deal. Nobody knows, apparently. Mr. Mew Mew from The World Ends With You.
Never heard of that.
This one.
Okay.
You should play it. Jeez.
Looks like a webcam.
I get it. I'm uncultured. What?
Uncultured.
Brody? Real or fake?
That's a real Pokemon.
Wrong.
Oh.
Wait.
I thought it was
hold on.
I'll give someone else a point if they can guess what it's from.
Webkins.
Nope.
I just remembered what it was.
I thought it was Celebi, but
My guess is from a Cartoon Network show.
No. Why is Cartoon Network show your go-to?
Am I allowed to take another shot?
No, you got it wrong the first time. Sorry, Brody.
Pain.
Custard.
The reveal? It's from Sonic.
I
Guys
knew
should've
it!
known. It's
I knew
always
it!
Sonic with me.
Yeah. Why wouldn't Eric make a song?
Up next?
Pokemon.
Yes.
Hannah said it first?
I don't know what it is. It's a ladybug.
I do. It's called Ladybug.
No.
Ledian.
What?
What am I thinking of
You
then?
get 1 point. You're probably thinking of it's like its first form.
He's a
Probably.
ladybug, right?
I'm
Oh wait.
Next
maybe
up?
He's not. It's kind of an apple.
Next.
Pokemon. Is that it?
What?
No, there's definitely more. I made a lot of these.
Not a Pokemon.
Ro?
Not a Pokemon.
Wrong.
What?
If someone can guess what its actual name is, I'll give a point.
It's some sort of treant.
No.
Wait,
Yes,
so
it
it's
is.
not
Yes,
a
it is. It
Pokemon,
definitely
right?
No, it is a Pokemon.
It is?
Yes, it is.
It
The
looks
real
like
deal.
a weird Hydra one.
Okay,
Plant type.
It's from Gen 7. I'll give you that hint.
I don't know any
So
of
it's
those.
kind of new.
Yes.
Okay, that's the first problem.
It's Gen 7 X and Y.
Can we
or is
just
that
guess
not?
like the element, like it's grass type?
Yeah,
or
I'll give
something?
you that. What's
Grass
the-
type.
Nope.
Water.
Nope.
Electric.
You already got it. You already give up.
Electric.
Yeah, wrong point. Reveal?
What?
Zertree, the Ultra Beast Pokemon
What?
from Sun and
Literally
Moon.
I said it was a
literal
tree.
alien.
He's a cord.
I said it was a tree.
It's a cord, dude.
It's
Next
an
up,
electric. Man.
Not a Pokemon.
Rose said it first. Correct. What is it from?
Oh, I know this.
Brody?
Oh, it's Poor from Dragon Ball.
Yep, correct.
What?
Rowan, Brody, get a point.
Oh, he's so
That
cute.
is an
Oh.
Adult
So
Swim
weird.
cartoon, which is close to my Cartoon
Currently,
Network.
wait, who's in the lead?
Guesses.
Ro.
Ro is currently in the lead. I don't know
What?
how.
What?
Currently.
Not a Pokemon.
I.
Hannah
Okay,
can have
who said it first?
I think I heard Hannah first.
Hannah first. What do you think it's from?
I don't know.
Anybody else?
I just want the point. Wait. Hollow Knight. I don't know.
No. Real?
Digimon. Wait, it could be.
Some sort of witch.
A Heartless from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
Again, should have known with me.
That's why. Yeah, that makes
Next
sense.
up.
It looks so familiar.
Yes, a Pokemon! Yes, a Pokemon!
I heard Nathan first.
Yes, that is a Pokemon. No, I do not know what it's called. I think it's a cloud.
It was in our Nuzlocke
leaf
video.
thing. No, it's rocks. It's made of rocks. It's rocks.
Incorrect.
Don't know.
Incorrect.
Okay.
It's Fortress. It was in the
The
Nuzlocke.
Nuzlocke.
It was named Fortnite. Respect his death. Who's the game's winner, Cam?
The game's winner is Ro.
What? Yeah!
It was Ro. Next up, it's Morbin time with Brody.
How? How?
Hannah, you are off by a half.
What, half?
So recently, I decided to watch Morbius for the first time. And because I'm not a complete monster who dare recommend bad movies to people, I'm going to talk about it, so you don't have to watch it. Let's get into it. Alright, so from what I was able to put together when I was watching it, the movie goes a little something like this. Michael Morbius is a guy who was born with a kinda rare disease that should have killed him at a young age. We don't really get the backstory till after the opening scene. It opens on a helicopter landing outside of some cave in Costa Rica. And then a bunch of guys come out, set up lab equipment, and the guy from Blade Runner 2049 hobbles out of the chopper. After a swarm of bats flies out at the good doctor, we get treated to a flashback to a young Morbius in a hospital where he's introduced to Lucien, but he gets called Milo because Michael can't be bothered to remember a name like Lucien. The movie then jumps back to the present where Morbius is treating a young girl at a place named Horizon before getting called aside by his colleague, Martine Bancroft, who berates him for declining a Nobel Prize for creating artificial blood. You're kind of going to want to remember the whole blood thing since it kind of just comes back later. They test the serum on a mouse which seemingly kills it before it later revives as healthy as ever, apparently. This prompts Morbius to go see Milo, who's living lavishly while still being cared for by Dr. Nicholas, who was shown in that flashback from earlier. After a stroll down a sidewalk and a visit to the park, it immediately cuts to a shot of a large boat sitting on the eastern seaboard, where Morbius and Bancroft are working out of a makeshift lab. He injects himself with the serum he developed, and it almost immediately turns him rabid after the camera cuts away. We see the dear Doc go on a murder spree on the boat, with Martine being the only one alive since she got KO'd by accident from a merc pushing her aside. You know, you'd think with how they shot the action scenes here, Sony would have marketed this as a horror movie. Sadly, it's just PG-13 violence with the kind of music you'd expect in a superhero flick. You know, just nothing special. Eventually the boat gets rescued, Bancroft's in the hospital, and Milo's now curious about what Michael did overseas. Meanwhile, Dr. Jekyll is busy figuring out the new changes to his body, including the urge to consume blood, which is where the artificial blood thing from earlier comes back. Milo finds him and wants to get a dose of the serum, but Mr. Morbin time tells him it's too dangerous. After that, we get a sequence with a nurse being stalked by a shadowy figure before the camera turns to show a vampire grabbing her. Meanwhile, the police finally get to Morbius and take him in for interrogation since one of his origami bats was found at the murder scene after a lengthy chase across the rooftops. I keep joking about how similar this is to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but the movie treats going full Morb like an involuntary transformation half the time. Morbius gets a visit from Milo, who only got in because he told the cops he was a lawyer. Pretty sure that's illegal, but hey, maybe he can find himself a real lawyer to help with that. I bet that Murdoch guy could help. He's a really good lawyer. As Milo leaves, both the audience and Michael discover that Milo has also taken the serum and is now a vampire too. Morbius escapes and chases Milo down to the subway where a really trippy fight scene ensues. I don't know why, but the smoke effects kinda look stupid. It doesn't really make sense since they're vampires and not speedsters. Eventually Michael and Martine reunite, and what comes next is easily the most memed scene in the entire movie. And it's Matt Smith dancing as he gets dressed in a suit. After we see Milo at a bar and Martine sneaking into the old lab, we get treated to a contrived villain meets with hero accomplice to taunt them, and by extent, the hero scene. After that, there are more scenes with Morbius and Bancroft before we see the public ramifications of their experiments, as the news reports on more victims being drained of their blood. Nicholas visits Milo and gets killed. Yep. More cliche kill the father figure to show how the villain's evil crap. Morbius has figured out how to destabilize the serum and creates an anti-serum to end Milo for good, and for good measure is one to use on himself if need be. Nicholas calls Michael over and dies in his arms, but not before we discover Martine was taken by Milo. Using his echolocation powers, Morbius finds Martine lying on a rooftop where he's forced to bite her neck before engaging in one last battle with Milo. Having to watch his girl die sends Michael into rage, which means you know what time it is.
It's Morbin time.
The fight is mostly just another majority digital slugfest between two dudes with the same powers, except the visuals kind of make it look like I'm watching those old Injustice 2 animations from when it was announced. After falling so hard they go underground, the two evenly matched fighters find themselves arguing about the value of their new abilities before Morbius summons a swarm of bats. It honestly felt kind of pointless other than to flex the VFX budget. Through the power of slow-mo and absolute luck, Nosferatu is able to pin Vlad to a wall before stabbing him with the anti-serum. Milo decides to beg Michael for mercy before the serum eventually kicks in and ends him. The police finally show up after pretty much doing nothing for that entire third act, as Morbius flies out of the hole surrounded by bats, and we cut back to Martine, who opens her eyes and they glow red, showing that she has now become a vampire, apparently. The literal last shot before the credits is a close-up of Morbius as he flies into the night. Also, there's some after-credits junk with the vulture, but let's be real, it was tacked on and really did not add anything to this movie. Man, this movie is kinda awful. Plot that's basic is, guy gives himself powers and ends up fighting former friend who gave himself similar powers. Morbius left a lot to be desired. There was way too much confusion from the trailer for how this movie was supposed to go. Not to mention the stuff that was changed by the time the final cut was made. I mean, we all saw the trailers and how like half the scenes in them were just not in the final cut. I mean, overall, I just kind of wish they'd committed to making this a horror movie, considering, you know, it's Morbius the living vampire. The dude's a vampire. Just make a horror movie. Anyways, that's enough talking about this garbage movie. Glad I watched it, so none of you have to. Next time, I'll try to pick a movie that actually lives up to the hype. Anyways, see ya.
Well, that's the show for tonight, but don't forget to come back next week at 9 for an all-new episode of ASG.
And if you need your ASG fix before then, make sure to follow us on social media.
I'm Darian Yoder.
And I'm Eric Watts. All systems go, signing off.
Catch you later. I'm Big Man. I'm Big Man.
He's Big Man.
I'm Big Man.
He's the Big Man.
I'm Big Man.
He's the Big Man.
I'm Big Man.